But when we look at the amount of impact that had on your total revenue, that was only $2,750 for the entire year. And it was 275 hours you spent. You still made $4.5 million. And that's because you moved your time, energy, and effort, the focus, up the value ladder. Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Swanson back here with another episode of the Real Estate Mogul Podcast. Hey, in this episode, we're going to talk to you about why your income gets stuck at a certain level as a real estate investor. We're going to dive into some numbers. We're going to talk about what is preventing you, and as you're going to figure out, it's something that is very easily fixable. And I think that's the most encouraging aspect of this. So let me tell you where this came from. I was working with one of the guys that I coach yesterday, and we were sitting here in my office in the conference room, and we were talking about what is he doing on a daily basis? How is he spending his time? Where is he putting his energy and his effort? Why does the income seem like it's capping, and just kind of analyzing what's going on inside of his business. And the reality is he's in a unique position. He doesn't have financial constraints as far as he's not wondering, can I spend money to send direct mail, or can I buy and skip trace a list, and can I hire a cold caller? Like, all of those things are generally taken care of, right? So the challenge isn't a financial constraint. The challenge that I showed him is a putting your effort in the right places constraint. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. And the way I want to do that is, it's likely that you have seen, if you've paid any attention to YouTube or Facebook memes or Instagram or anything, you've seen the sort of conversation that talks about $10 tasks, $100 tasks, $1,000 tasks, and $10,000 tasks. And so if we look at this and we say, okay, we've got $10 tasks, we've got $100 tasks, we've got $1,000 tasks, and we have $10,000 tasks. Your income, the amount of money you make, is directly related to where you're putting your energy, your effort. And so let me give you an example. And so as I look at this, before we talk about what each of these tasks are and break down some tactical and strategic things to be thinking about, let's actually do some math. Because if you work full-time in this business and you work 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, there are 2,080 hours that you work in a year. Now, if you spend your time doing $10 tasks, I want you to see this. If you spend your time doing $10 tasks and you work 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, you never take a vacation, but you're only doing $10 tasks, this is how much money you can make. $20,800. You can only make $21,000 in a year working full-time because you're doing $10 tasks. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what's a $10 task? And am I doing $10 tasks? And we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. I want you to see how exponentially these numbers change as you go up the value ladder and spend your time on more valuable things. So as a full-time real estate investor, if you're doing $10 tasks, and this is something that you could outsource and pay someone else to do for $10. And there are a lot of things as a real estate investor, or as a business owner in general, that you can hire somebody to do for $10, $10 an hour. And so if you're doing your $10 tasks, you're capped at $21,000 a year. Now, If you go up to $100 tasks, and this is where the math starts to vary a little bit. If I've got 2,080 hours in the year, it is unlikely that I can replace all of my $10 tasks with $100 tasks, at least in the beginning, right? So there's a chance that there are still some $10 tasks involved. So here's what I want us to do. I want us to say, well, what happens if I can take half of my time and turn it into $100 an hour tasks? How does that affect my income? And so let's just look at the math here. And if I take half my time, so that's 2,040 hours. So all of a sudden at $10 tasks, we've got $10,400. That's how much we make. And the other amount of time is $100 tasks. So we take 1,040 hours times 100. And what is that? 104,000. So now we'll take the 104,000 plus the 10,400. All of a sudden, you've got $114,400. So just by moving where you spend your time from $10 tasks to $100 tasks, you all of a sudden hit the six-figure level. So if you're capped somewhere between the $21,000 and the $115,000 range, somewhere in the middle, you're likely spending $10 and $100 an hour tasks fairly split. Okay? Now, let's say that you figure out how to spend your time doing $1,000 hour tasks. How does this impact you? Well, let's just say that what we have to do is break this up, and you've got 2,080 hours, and so all of a sudden, what do you have? You've got 540 hours that you're going to do $10 tasks. You've got 500. Let's say you've got 1,040 hours or 1,080 hours that you're going to do $100 tasks, and you've got 540 hours that you're going to do $1,000 tasks. Let's do the math. All of a sudden, we've got $5,400 for the $10 tasks. We've got $108,000 for the $100 tasks. And look at this math right here. We've all of a sudden got $540,000 for the $1,000 tasks. So add these all up, and you get yourself into, let me see if I can do this math somehow here, $753,000. So if you can move yourself into spending 25% of your time on $1,000 an hour tasks, all of a sudden your income is no longer capped at $114,000. It jumps up to $750,000. Now let's do one final example, and let's just split this whole thing down. And now let's cut the amount of time that we're going to spend on $10 tasks. When you get to the point where you can spend your time doing $10,000 an hour tasks, most of your $10 tasks are gone. And so what we're just going to say here is that we're going to cut that in half, and I think that you could probably even cut it more, but we'll just cut it in half. And so we'll take 540 divided by 2, and so what is that? That is 250, 270. So we're going to say 270 hours are $10 tasks. We're going to say, let's see, 270 are $10 tasks. We're gonna leave 1,080 are $100 tasks. We're going to take the extra 200 and let's see, 70 plus the 540 that we have left, We've got we've got 810 hours left to work. I think that math is right. Let me do this math. Yep, we got 810 hours. We're going to say that we're going to split it down the middle, and we're going to say 405 are $1,000 tasks, and then we're going to put it up to the next level, and we're going to say 405 are $10,000 tasks. Now let's look at what your income cap is. You've got $2,750 at $10 an hour. You've got you've got 1,080 times 100. You've got 10,800 at $100 an hour. You've got $405,000 at $1,000 an hour, and you've got 4.05 million. Now the zeros are starting to add up here, so I'm going to do my calculator. 405 times 10,000, 4,050,000. So plus 405,000 plus 10,800 plus 2,750. $4,468,550. $4,468,550. I want you guys to see that as you exponentially, as you move the amount of time and effort that you put into low revenue tasks to high revenue tasks, your income doesn't go up linear. Your income goes up exponentially. So if you spend all of your time doing $10 tasks and you wonder why you're not making enough money, you're capped at $21,000. If you start to split it and you start to do 50-50 with $100 an hour tasks, all of a sudden you got a six-figure income, okay? You're doing $100 tasks half the time, $10 tasks the other half, you make $115,000 a year. Once you jump to the $1,000 an hour tasks, all of a sudden you're making $750,000 a year. And this is the biggest jump that you have. From $1,000 to $10,000 an hour tasks. And what we did is we had to adjust. You can't simply replace all of your hours of $10 an hour tasks with $10,000 hour tasks. That's a harder transition to make. And so we said that 275 of our 2,080 total hours, we're still stuck in doing $10 tasks, right? There's wasted time. There's things that you just do. There's conversations you have. There's things that happen that are just not that impactful. But when we look at the amount of impact that had on your total revenue, that was only $2,750 for the entire year. And it was 275 hours you spent. You still made $4.5 million. And that's because you moved your time, energy, and effort, the focus, up the value ladder. Hey, do you have what it takes to build a successful real estate investing business or scale your existing business to the next level? But you feel like you've hit a brick wall and there's something holding you back? If you answered yes, then my team of experienced real estate investor business development consultants wants to talk to you. We want to talk about a hands-on learning experience where you'll put in the work and we'll guide you through every step to make money together. Our goal is to create success stories that we'll use to continue to grow the real estate mogul community. Plus, I'm always looking for ways to expand my real estate investing business into new markets, create more passive income, and expand my money lending business. So my team of professional real estate investor coaches are looking for ways to make more money by helping students close more deals. We put our heads together and decided to bring on a small number of folks into our community with the goal of creating your success stories each and every month. Now, This is not for everyone, and there are a few requirements to being accepted into the program. But if you're ready for the next level, are ready to join our success team and work directly with one of the experienced real estate investors on my team, and if you're willing to put in the work and follow our guidance, go to realestatemogul.com/success to learn more. You'll learn what I'm looking for, exactly how the program works, and what you'll get from us. You'll also learn what we expect from you. Do it right now. Go to realestatemogul.com/success, and I'll see you on the next page. Okay, so one of the things that people are often asking me is, hey, if I'm stuck in one of these income cap levels, what am I likely doing, and how do I need to change? What do I need to do different to move into the next level? So let's break that down a little bit. If you're stuck in the $10 an hour task range, what I find most people are doing is they're spending time tinkering with websites, and they're writing copy on their websites, and they're setting up their web forms. They're making sure that it goes into their CRM, and they're tinkering with their CRM. And they're making sure that they're adding new custom fields. They're uploading templates. They're rewriting a postcard. They're doing all of these administrative little tasks that need to be offloaded, right? And so one of the first things that I'll tell people, if you find yourself spending time there, is you need to hire an assistant. Maybe you don't need to hire a lead manager or an acquisitions VA or somebody that can do list building or skip tracing. Maybe you just need an organizational assistant, somebody to help you set the business up and get all of these little loose ends figured out. And so to go from those $10 an hour tasks to $100 an hour tasks, one of the first things you could do is say, I'm going to spend my time putting together a checklist of the things that I need done. And you don't need to hire this person for the next 40 years of your life, not even the next year of your life. Maybe you need them for a month to just help you set some things up. You go spend $500 and all of these things are set up and done. And so you go from those $10 an hour tasks to the $100 an hour tasks. The $100 an hour tasks are that next level of thinking where you're then asking yourself, okay, I know that we're going to build a marketing list. What marketing are we going to do? And what's the cadence of the marketing that we're going to send out? And how are we going to capture the inbound leads? The $10 to $100 an hour effort is the thinking. It's the mental side of what you're doing. And so the $10 task is something that, given some instruction, somebody can go do. They can go into your CRM. They can go into the help desk in FreedomSoft, and they can look and see how to set up a website and connect a web form to a lead campaign. That's simple to do. They can go figure that out. It's a $10 an hour task. Thinking about what market and where in that market and where am I going to spend my time and what list am I going to build and how am I going to build the list, and it's the level of thinking that goes from $10 an hour task just doing to $100 an hour task thinking. So if you find yourself spending a lot of time in that thinking zone, you then want to move up to the $1,000 an hour task, which is leveraged effort. So now you want to be thinking about and creating a training system, and you want to recruit somebody to do the $100 an hour task, right? A lot of times people will go build that list for $100 an hour. They'll be thinking about it. They'll build the list. They'll skip trace the leads, and they'll get on the phone and they'll start prospecting. Well, if that's what you're doing, you're capped at about $115,000 a year. That's where you start to cap yourself. Moving from there to $1,000 a year or $1,000 an hour is the training system and the recruiting system to hire somebody to do the outbound prospecting at a sufficient level of skill that they're producing results. If you can pay somebody $100 an hour to do something that can produce $1,000 an hour results because you put the training system together for them to do it at a sufficiently high level of skill. That's how you move from $100 an hour to $1,000 an hour effort on your side. From $1,000 an hour to $10,000 an hour is the jump that separates the girls from the women and the men from the boys from the men. That's the thing, and it's the most challenging thing to do. It's all about leveraged execution. It's all about leveraged execution. $10,000 an hour activities are raising capital, putting yourself in a position to have access to unlimited capital, putting a fund together, building your team, leadership, recruiting top talent to your team that can execute with high levels of efficiency the $1,000 an hour tasks. Getting to the $10,000 an hour task level is all about recruiting and building the systems so that your team can replace you in executing the $1,000 an hour task items we talked about a couple of minutes ago. When people move to the $1,000 an hour task, they often think these are the highest value things that I should be doing. This is where I should be spending my time. And it's why so many people get stuck in that sub-$1,000,000 a year income producing range. Because when you start to break the amount of hours that are available in a day, a week, a month, a year, down into where you're spending your time, it becomes very clear quickly why you're hitting certain income caps. How do you go to the next level? You recognize where you're at, which of these 4 tiers are you currently operating in, and ask yourself the question, what is the allocation of my time in each one of these buckets? $10, $100, $1,000, and $10,000 tasks. If you figure that out and you start to allocate your time in the appropriate buckets, move time, it's a zero-sum game. There's only so much time. So if you reduce time from one bucket, are you putting it into another bucket? And is that trade of time going up the value ladder or down the value ladder? That's the question you need to be asking yourself all the time. That's the stuff that we spend a lot of time coaching people on, teaching people, talking to people about, recognizing, okay, where are you putting your time? You're not making the money you want to make yet. Your business isn't exactly where you want it to be yet. Where are you spending your time? How are you evaluating where you're spending your time, and what are you doing to move your time, this limited resource, from one bucket to the next? We spend a lot of time on that inside of our programs, inside of our coaching, inside of our conversations with students and folks that we're working with. We think about this on a regular basis. We talk about it. We allocate it. We say, okay, here's why your income has capped. Here's the task you're spending your time on. Here's what you need to do next to go to the next level. This is what it's about, right? This is very strategic. And then you break it down into the buckets and it becomes tactical. And this is how you take your business from where you are to where you want to go. Friends, I hope this was a great one. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. I hope you look at where you are falling in these 4 buckets and ask yourself, what income level have I capped out at? What is my allocation of time into each of these buckets, and how can I move it around? That's the question I want you to be asking. The exponential growth is right here on this piece of paper. The exponential opportunity is in what I just talked to you about. The question is, will you step back and be the business leader it takes to recognize what you have to do to get there? I hope the answer is yes. My name is Rob Swanson. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey, do you have what it takes to build a successful real estate investing business or scale your existing business to the next level, but you feel like you've hit a brick wall and there's something holding you back? If you answered yes, then my team of experienced real estate investor business development consultants wants to talk to you. We want to talk about a hands-on learning experience where you'll put in the work and we'll guide you through every step to make money together. Our goal is to create success stories that we'll use to continue to grow the real estate mogul community. Plus, I'm always looking for ways to expand my real estate investing business into new markets, create more passive income, and expand my money lending business. So my team of professional real estate investor coaches are looking for ways to make more money by helping students close more deals. We put our heads together and decided to bring on a small number of folks into our community with the goal of creating your success stories each and every month. Now, this is not for everyone, and there are a few requirements to being accepted into the program. But if you're ready for the next level, are ready to join our success team and work directly with one of the experienced real estate investors on my team, and if you're willing to put in the work and follow our guidance, go to realestatemogul.com/success to learn more. You'll learn what I'm looking for, exactly how the program works, and what you'll get from us. You'll also learn what we expect from you. Do it right now. Go to realestatemogul.com/success, and I'll see you on the next page.